Hello, it's Max from Dice-ist. In this episode, we will be having a look at an intro to my character, Dante Butterworth, and Sarah's character, Quint, but not the Jaws one. I hope you enjoy.
Max.
Yes.
Dante.
Yes.
As I should say.
I am.
You find yourself in all too familiar surroundings, Dante. You feel the weight of your armour on you, the comfortable feeling of being cinched into a harness. You are riding pillion on a hover bike, which at the moment is rattling around in the rear compartment of a shuttle.
Right.
Which at the moment is sort of being boshed around all over the place as you're coming down through the atmosphere. It's all completely familiar feelings for a combat-hardened veteran like yourself.
It's all on a Tuesday morning.
Yeah, it's kind of your thing. You are, at the moment, you've been hired partly as a hired gun, partly for your technical ability, and you're working with a very small team of mercenaries at the moment. There's only 4 of you. You're on, at the moment, you're both 2 and 2 on two of these hover bikes in the docking sort of area of this little shuttle. And you are approaching the targets. The target being, you are heading down at the moment, you're currently going through the atmosphere of Kolkana. It's night as you're heading into the planet, you're on the night side of the planet. It's wet, foggy, perfect conditions to do an infiltration mission through a heavily forested area. So it's like fir trees, kind of Endorish, I would say, if we think Endor. I don't think we're far off. It's that kind of thing. And you are going to make your way into a pirate base where you're going to exfiltrate a kidnapped Valkyrian ambassador.
Okay. Who have I been hired by?
Well, you've been hired by a chap that you know from the war.
Right.
He's a Firaxi. Now, the weird thing is this is one of these things where you actually fought against one another, but kind of post-war, you sort of know each other and have bumped into each other in different engagements and kind of admire one another, although you've fought against each other and your companies fought one another. And it's a guy called Aquasi Sowell.
Right.
He's a very rough-spoken Firaxi, as I say, that you know reasonably well.
Yeah, but deep down he's a swell guy.
Hey!
That's it.
I like it. We can stop right there. It's not going to get any better than that. He's also on the other bike, so you're on the back with him. On the other bike is a female Firaxi called Tweely. She's flying and piloting that bike, and on the back of it, it looks rather odd because behind her is an enormous Kandravan by the name of Gosling. He's another, he's carrying the heavy weapons. If everything goes wrong, he's the guy you've got outside waiting to give you cover and that kind of thing.
Is that his actual name, or is that like a funny name because it's a baby goose?
No, the problem with Kandravan is they don't really care about names.
Right.
They kind of really don't care. So it's almost, they'll see something, they'll get told something, and that's a good word.
Right.
So it's quite possible to run into a Kandravan called dining table, because they really don't care. It's just something that doesn't figure very much in their psyche. There's not much in a name.
So how do they go by each other then?
They'll call you occasional table,
Yeah, right, but they do use names, but they don't care what it is as long as
once they've got one, they kind of get on with it. It just doesn't sort of writ large in the whole way that they are as a race, really. So there could be millions of reasons why I call Gosling. It could just be that it sounds nice.
Yeah.
Could be an utter insult in Valkyrian or something like that. I mean, we think of it as being Gosling, and it's a lovely little fluffy thing, but it could be the most appalling thing to say about somebody's mum in another language for all I know. So, but anyway, there you go. As you plummet through the atmosphere, it smooths out. You can feel that you've come through the rough part of the atmosphere, and you can see on the view screen, sort of flitting past you now, there's a starlit sky as you drop down, and you can see mists in the forest below you. The idea is you get Aquasi sort of comes over the throat comms and everything to you all, and he sort of saying, "Remember, we need to get him out as quietly as possible, and then we need to get out without causing any trouble. We need to get him out alive.
Yeah.
You will be responsible for slicing and dicing the security system.
Right.
We'll get you close enough.
Yep.
You need to break us in. We find him. We get out."
That's right in my wheelhouse.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like someone wrote an adventure exactly for your character, isn't it? It's crazy. It's like they read your character and went, what were the chances? Right? What were the chances? Absolutely. Quick drink of rum. This podcast is brought to you by Captain Morgan this evening, by the way.
not officially, but if he wants to get involved, we would welcome the good
yeah,
captain.
absolutely,
as
the
a
good
sponsor.
captain. Yeah,
Oh yeah, especially
anytime.
since you've already drained yours, man.
Oh yeah,
Wow,
I did
my
that
friend.
before I started.
Right, Jack, do your job. Come on, refresh. You can get on with that while we talk. So there's also
I nudged it.
No, it'll be alright.
okay. So the pilot who you met, sort of briefly getting on board, is a J. Raki, a guy by the name of Ijar.
Yeah, J. Raki, the little goblin.
Sort of
lizard
frog-like,
man
sort
on
of,
there,
yes, absolutely. And he says, coming up on the target. It's like, 3 seconds to drop. 3, 2, 1, and then there's that feeling of free fall as like the bay doors open underneath you and the cycles come down. At the moment, we're doing Sarah's character. Hello, Sarah.
Hi.
Who's your character?
My character is Quint, Valkyrian adventurer.
Marvellous. So, we've already said all this once, but let's just set it out there. This takes place around about the same time, or just after, maybe, by a few minutes, the scene that we played out when we did episode 0.
Yeah.
So the crew of the Danson Kiki have gone on, they found the Kurgan ship. The events that happen on the Kurgan ship happen, and we have this psychic explosion, this psychic wave of energy, which is now sort of building up to be a tsunami that's moving out, billowing out across the universe, and at some point will catch up with your character. But for now, that hasn't happened. And for now, we find ourselves, as the Mind's camera moves, in Starport. You are in a classic, high-tech but grubby all at the same time. Classic Starport. The people are coming and going. They're moving their hover luggage around. People are having their identities checked. Somebody's wiping the coffee stains off the table where you're sat.
And when they do that, a short while, I'll just spill a little bit of coffee, make another stain, move the coffee cup, and just wait and see if they see.
If that tells us everything we need to know about Quint's character, we can stop right now, really, can't we? That tells us everything we need to know.
Quint is a bit bored.
Well, I'm going to
They're
say...
in between jobs. Quint has an independent streak. So, not currently on a job, but wanting to do something. So...
But not knowing what.
Not knowing what. So
this is how many days have you been in disguise
3.
in this? Yeah.
Yeah.
You've noticed a few things in your 3 days of sitting around. If I can find them. The fat security guard is back. On day 3. He was here on the first day. He's back on the third one. He's still got all the food stains on his uniform that he had on Monday. And it's now Wednesday. And he's looking really bored, just sat watching people coming and going and not really checking ideas as thoroughly. You could get past that, no trouble at all. The lovely Valkyrian man selling the flowers is really nice. He seems really genuine. He comes in extra early to open up, and he spends far too long making all the bouquets of flowers, and then sells them far too cheaply. But he clearly just enjoys making everybody a really nice bouquet of flowers, so he's just got a lovely stall, and he's just setting everything up, and just being a generally nice man. The other security guard, who's an Aradian, you've seen him before. He was on duty yesterday, and he's back again today. He is looking distinctly nervous today. You can tell. He's kind of, the mouth is dry, you know, he's constantly sort of trying to get some...
Quint's interested.
He's looking a bit clammy, anxious, looking around. Something's definitely going on, excuse me. And another thing that's going on at the moment is there's a lady who works at the cafe, and she's really hard working. She's there all the hours you've been here. You've been sat here now for the best part of 3 days on and off. And this lady's pretty much constantly been there. Really pleasant, always offers everybody a smile, so to make sure they get their drinks and all the rest of it, and clearly a hard-working lady. Some members of a local swoop bike gang are messing with her at the moment. 2 of them are sat at tables, the other one sort of leaves them to it, and he goes over to approach the nervous-looking Aradian guard, while the other 2 are just being really irritating dicks, basically, and doing the things that irritating dicks do to people who are trying to earn a living and make their way in the world.
Well, Quint might be, slightly, mischievous, but Quint will not let that stand.
Okay.
So, Quint will have been making a list while sat down, and it would be, send nice meal to fat guard, but make it healthy.
Yeah.
Advise Valkyrian florist that stuff is best sold at X location because they'll be able to make a lot more money doing it.
Yeah.
And then the pen will go down, and Quint will kind of just clock all of the this gang. And let's see, Quint's skills are in dexterity and perception.
Yeah.
So they've seen exactly what's going on.
That's why you've not rolled yet.
I think, let's see, stealth and sleight of hand. Could I have been said to have maybe seen the nervous guard a couple of times and nodded and said hello?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll just kind of go, sup, at him and wave the guard over.
It's like looks like everything's fine. It's fine. Yeah, don't worry. No, it's honestly, really, it's fine. You just be about your business. Thanks. Yeah, no problem.
No, right. What can I do?
It's okay.
And then I'll give him his badge back that he hasn't noticed I'm taking.
Oh, right. Okay. Really, and
I can help.
No. It's honestly fine. I'm really okay. It's no problem. Please, you're just going to make things a lot worse if you don't go away right now. The biker guy is not very far away, and he will start to overhear what you're talking about within a second or two. He's got the alien equivalent of leather jacket, top sleeves on his denim jacket. That kind of stuff.
Patches and
whatever alien.
Do I know that particular? Because I do have
You can roll streetwise.
Well, I have some connections to the mob.
Yeah, this isn't that good and that organised, and
Okay.
this isn't actually the reason you've picked this station. Is precisely because you're testing your skills.
Yes.
You don't necessarily know that much about this area. That's kind of part of why, with your boredom, you are doing what
absolutely.
you're doing. So I'll let you roll. You can absolutely have a streetwise roll to know a bit more about the biker gang if you want to.
I'll give it a go. Talk me through it. I have 2 in will, which gives me 2
So you're going to roll
streetwise.
2d12. You add 2 to it. If you roll a 1 or a 12, let me know.
8.
Excellent. So 8, is that with your 2?
That's, so I rolled 6.
Yeah, you add them together. So we've got 10,
so 10,
we've got
12.
Yeah. With a 12, not really, not massively familiar, but, a biker gang's a biker gang.
Yeah.
You can probably have a pretty good idea of what they're into. There'll be a safe house somewhere, and all that kind of stuff. All the usual things you would suspect of a biker gang. But this particular one, they seem to be called the Devil Zone when you translate it. Your computer will translate it for you.
Okay. In that case, I'm going to just brush past them. And if they've got any obvious weaponry that is to hand,
Right.
I'm just going to grab it.
Okay, that's going to take a roll because they are here to do something.
Yes.
And they're going to be looking for trouble. So I think, should I make it really horrible and make you roll with disadvantage?
Ooh.
Now go on, make me a roll. Make me a roll. It's what you're good at. You're used to it.
Oh!
And you get a 12. So we got 14. What do you get a plus on that?
I get a +4 on that.
Wow. Okay, so we've got 16. That is actually a success.
I've just about run out of pockets to put this stuff in.
Yeah. So you get it. Not only that, he's been daft enough to carry his own ID. So you also pull out his wallet at the same time that you take his sidearm.
Lovely.
And we'll give him a name in a bit, but he's certainly got a name, and it's photo ID, the whole hollow ID. It's an authentic one.
Yeah.
What on earth he's doing? If he is here doing things he shouldn't be, he absolutely shouldn't be carrying that.
Yeah.
So you've kind of got his gun and his ID and anything that might be remotely useful to him if he's about to do any kind of trouble.
Yeah.
He saunters over to the guard and they start talking quietly in a corner.
Okay, so useless guard doesn't seem to be on the take as much as
No.
nervous guard.
No.
So
Or if he is, he doesn't care and he's literally not taking any notice of what's going on.
I'm going to saunter over to the waitress and tell her, just clear out.
Right.
Tell the people in here that there's been a gas leak in the kitchens, that they're getting the services sorted, but we're going to have to vacate. A sewage leak.
Nice.
Sewage
Okay.
leak into the kitchen. We can't serve any more food. I'm sorry, but you're all going to have to leave.
Okay, get off! And it's like she's getting really irritated with these guys. And
Yeah.
she's like, and she sort of gets, fine, okay, I'll go and sort that. And she starts bustling around people and saying, I'm really sorry, we're going to have to close the cafe. And she starts doing all this kind of thing. And she's like keeping one eye on these guys.
Yeah.
But she does sort of, lots of begrudgingly, people are picking up cakes from the plate and trying to.
Yeah,
walk out
after
and
they've
take
been
the-
told there's a sewage leak.
Yeah, but it's not on their food yet. So she's kind of, they're taking it with them and all that kind of stuff. And they're kind of grudgingly moving. I've got 2 hours for my flight yet and all that kind of stuff. But they are moving off, they are doing what she says, and eventually the cafe is relatively clear. These 2 biker guys are kind of like, who are you?
I'm just a traveller.
Well, you seem to be
Bob.
pushing everybody about. Wrong bloke. That's the guy that's
All
on
right,
the
okay.
This is Jeff and Dennis. It's
All right, okay. Yeah, just travelling. What are you up to? It's interesting.
I'm gonna do you over in a minute.
Oh, you know.
Really think you're something, don't you? The other one stands up as well. They kind of start to spread out either side of Quint.
Yeah. Well, I'm not a
Pushing
fan
the
of
chairs
this
back.
because I really am weedy.
Right.
I am delicate, very delicate. But what I do have is dexterity, so I can dodge.
Right.
So I will be manoeuvring myself to a position where I don't have any things impeding my retreat, because I'm not going to be able to get up close and personal with these guys. I'm very happy I've taken their weaponry that they seem to have not noticed yet.
Yeah.
So
The other 2 guys, one of them makes it very obvious that he just sort of moves his hand slightly, and just you can see the heel of a blaster.
yeah.
And he goes, why don't you just get the fuck out now?
Well, that's a wonderful idea. I do think that. And I will actually retreat.
Because you make your way out the way, rightfully so,
Yeah.
and something's clearly going to go down.
Yeah.
There's quite a lot of tension. Even the fat guard has noticed that something's going on at this point.
I'll amble over to the fat guard.
Okay. As you're going to go over to the guard, a voice that you know from your past sort of is literally just from nowhere over your shoulder, so to speak. It's kind of like, that's quite enough, Quint. Calm down. And you look around and you see your old boss, who is another Valkyrian. Mm-hmm. A guy called Varan Cavendish. Varan is his first name. Cavendish. And you've not seen him for 3 years, certainly since the end of the war. And he's like, sit down, watch the show.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
And he's sort of, you sit down in the corner, he pushes over a drink to you, sort of thing. It's like,
I don't drink it yet.
As he,
I've not seen this guy for 3 years, and some shit's about to go down. I'm not stupid.
No, he was your boss. It's unlikely he would, do anything really dodgy. As you're sitting down with him and having the drink and everything, he kind of looks around and nods, and a whole load of actual security, like that know what they're doing, come in, and they promptly, one of them swings around to get his gun, and he realises he hasn't actually got his gun anymore, and whatever his idea is.
And meanwhile, I'm just kind of unpacking it all
Stick it all on the table. Yeah, he takes it and he hands it over to.
Oh, and that's the
boss of the
idea.
security and everything.
Yeah.
He says, "Oh, glad to see you've been keeping your hand in. Can
Fun.
we talk?
Yeah.
Good. Are you adverse to taking a drive while we talk?
I've done enough here. Yeah, let's do it.
Fine. You sort of, the chaos of all this is going on in the background as the camera fades on that, and you walk back to his private vehicle. His driver steps round, opens the door, and you're ushered in. All feeling of, which is familiar to you, combat types.
Yeah.
You sort of, Tweely can't resist letting out a woo-hoo
Yeah.
on the way down kind of thing. And then you kind of get low enough that the grav drives of the bike sort of
the repulsor
have enough to
things
repulse,
can-
exactly. And they sort of engage and you do the whole speeder thing, make appropriate Star Warsy speeder noises as you whip
Yep.
through the forest. Actually, I'm missing a trick here.
Yeah.
You should be driving.
Well,
Are you any good at driving?
is there a drive skill? I think there is, isn't there?
Absolutely there is. I just haven't got a carrot sheet in front of me, so you're going to have to tell me.
There's piloting.
Piloting will do.
I am
I'm not going to
good
get
at
too
that.
picky. Thank you, Jack.
Thank you, Jack. What is driving under if it is?
I would have. Is it not a dex?
Oh, there's piloting.
Piloting?
Oh, I'm
No,
not good at that.
piloting covers it. Go with piloting.
I'm not good at that. I'll let him drive.
Okay, we'll let him drive. Yeah, let's leave it as it was. You're like working systems. You're probably like the Rio.
Yeah,
You'll
yeah.
have like radar
Yeah.
systems and all that kind of stuff. Tracking and things. You've probably got a screen in front of you. You can start to bring
flipping
things up.
in flipping
He's quite
the
good at
dials.
mechatronics, which is exactly what that would cover as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
So there you go. You bring up sensors and that kind of stuff. And you know roughly where this base is. You've also been given intel. There's upward of 30 pirates in this place.
Oof.
So you really don't want to kick things off if you can help it. Yeah.
Let's stealth our way in.
The other thing that you've been given is a series of explosives. So they've been told, the mercenaries have been told that once you actually extricate the good Volcarian ambassador, if you'd like to leave a calling card behind you and make sure that you eradicate thoroughly the rest of the base.
Okay.
So you'll need to decide how long you want to put onto your timer there when you.
Well, luckily
set
I've
your
got a
explosives.
plan timed to the second.
Wow, that's
So
perfect
that's-
then.
Yeah, I've done the
That's
recon
absolutely
ahead of time, and I'm
Right.
I'm
About
kicking bottom.
a kilometre out from the base, again, Aquasi comes over the. Right, we'll stop here and we'll make our way in by foot. And the bike sort of glide to a stop.
Yeah.
You hide them away a little bit, camouflage them in the bushes and stuff.
Yeah.
And you get off. You've got your kit on and all that kind of thing. Now, one thing we should have done before we started, and I realise we haven't, but we started recording now. We haven't actually put down any specs for guns and things.
That's
on
what I
you,
was
which
about to say, what have we
completely
brought
forget.
with
So,
us?
however, I have actually printed off the right sheet, so
that's useful.
we're okay. So we have actually got the paperwork in front of us. Sorry, folks, should have done that before we started. My apologies. But I'll leave that with you because we've got some armour down here. I think medium armour is fair enough.
I think so, because I
for
don't
what
want to be
we're
too
doing.
bogged down,
Yeah,
do I?
and I think
mobile.
your list of energy weapons, etc., is here. Again, you don't want anything. You wouldn't be carrying anything too heavy because you're going in on the infiltration.
Yeah, I want to be
But your
Sneaky
Gosling,
cool.
your Candravan friend, he will be carrying something suitably
Something more like
ridiculous.
that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So should we say medium armour though? Because
I think so.
I agree in principle. So let's go with medium armour.
Yeah. Yours has probably also been fitted for things like, so it's quicker to take on and off.
Yeah. it's
It'll
got
also be,
QDs,
you're all
you can
wearing
pull it.
ablative armour as well. So
Right.
energy weapons don't do double damage, effectively.
Right,
Yeah,
okay,
they don't
yeah.
halve your
Yeah.
armour value. You got the correct things on your armour because you know what you're going into in your military.
Yeah.
Other things that you've got on your suit is that you can hardwire yourself in. It's equipped with a sort of lanyard that you can plug yourself into
Right,
security
okay,
systems,
like a
that
little
kind of
jack
thing as well.
that I can-
Because I was born in the 1970s, so as far as I'm
Yeah.
concerned, Bluetooth ironically never got invented, and everything has
Yeah.
to be hardwired in.
Yeah.
That's the way cyberpunk works, isn't it? So
It's also the way I prefer this sort of thing.
Yeah.
To be honest, it's like
So absolutely, and obviously,
yeah, like if
you
it's on
wouldn't. There
Bluetooth,
wouldn't be
you
any
just sit
Bluetooth.
back and just
Right,
you got to get
and
in there.
It's a secure base. I don't
Yeah.
think they're going to have their security systems available to Bluetooth. To be perfectly
Yeah.
honest, I think you would need to do a hardwire
Yeah,
to
you're not
actually
gonna
try and
snarf
crack
them, are
them.
you?
Yeah. So I don't think that's unreasonable to expect. So yeah, you sort of all quietly jump off your bikes and things like that.
So what sort of armour would these pirates be wearing?
They're probably wearing light to medium armour. Depends,
Okay.
little bit hazy. The problem with pirates is it depends what they've nicked on the last mission.
Hmm.
They could have some really cool stuff for all you know.
Yeah.
But
think
you're
because-
wearing military grade kit, so it's not like you're going in.
Well, no, but an SMG would generally make sense against pirates, but if they're sort of, they're a bit more kitted out.
I
think they
would
want something a bit
suggest
heavier.
a sort of energy based weapon because it's unlikely they've got ablative armour. So you'd probably go with it's
With a
military grade
blaster, eh?
stuff. So
Yeah. How quiet are the energy weapons?
I'm not sure if you can silence an energy weapon in this game
Yeah,
actually.
well, I'm not sure how you do it.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Because
And
it's
what
all
would
about
you
the
do?
gases stopping, whereas
Ooh,
there isn't really
oh.
gas in.
Lightfish, you need to tell us, can you silence energy weapons? I'm going to have to ask you that on the Facebook group.
It is in the book.
Oh, there you go.
Is it?
Because it tells you.
Jack's
what
behind the
different-
camera, everybody. He's going to
Yes.
tell us.
Yeah. So you can't put a silencer on an energy weapon, but it's up to you to decide how loud it actually is. It's only kinetic.
The
weapons.
problem is they'll kind of have that build-up, though, as they...
They
You
would,
get
but
the-
I don't think it'd be
the
loud.
engine.
I think it'd be like more of a hum.
Do you think?
Yeah.
Like a horrible sort of, it's about to cook you.
Yeah, because if you look at the
life.
sort of energy weapons we have in real life, they're mostly supercapacitors
Yeah.
in
So,
some
yeah.
way.
Okay.
So you just touch it, there's maybe a crack,
Okay.
but you'd hum to charge it
Yeah.
because it'd be the generators and
How
stuff.
good are you
going.
with the cold steel?
Oh, well, like a knife.
You know, if you want to get really quiet, you can...
Only base for cold weapons. So
right,
4.
okay.
It's not bad.
Yeah. And luckily for you, of course, you
Well,
are
I've got
with a
5
trained team
for
of...
gunnery and energy. So.
Right, so you're okay with that. So I'd probably say go with an energy weapon myself. Quasi's good with the blades.
Yeah.
I'm sure he'll be quite happy to get in there, you know, with his cat-like reflexes and so forth. You establish a bit of a marching order. Quasi goes up front, Gosling's behind him, and then you and Tweely sort of bring up the rear between the 4 of you, and you make your way. About 300 metres out from the base, you see Quasi sort of, you know, pulls you to a halt. He can speak over throat mics because they kind of sub-vocalise and it'll pick up the movements of your throat.
Yeah.
So it's possible to talk without talking and still make noise into your headsets. It just doesn't sound like him. You can tell he's doing it because suddenly you don't get the growl and this sort of... He tends to hum music. Weirdly, he hums English earthen sea shanties a lot.
Right.
Where he's got it from is anybody's guess, but you know, getting things like "Farewell and Adieu to Your Fair Spanish Lady" is perfectly normal to hear coming through his microphone when he's just humming away to himself. He sort of pulls you to, and it very quietly comes over in this slightly computerised voice that just out in front of us, 30 metres, patrol 3. We can. What do we do?
I'm going to say we just leave him be bypass.
Is he going to try and sneak past?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we need a
not
sneak
gonna
roll
shoot it
for
with
you
it.
then.
Well, before we do this, I'm going to say I'm going to carry a blaster SMG,
Okay.
and then I'm probably going to bring a basic bitch handgun, sort of stuffed in my boots,
Basic
just as
bitch
a
handgun.
yeah.
I'm liking the definition.
Well, you know, it's not anything special, but it is still a bullet if I need a bullet.
It might be something you've had around for a long time that just is part of your personal
yeah, maybe
array.
it was like an old military
Yeah.
Issue thing that I've.
Your
kept
father
around.
handed it down, and
Yeah.
your grandfather handed it down to him before.
Well, yeah, because I'm a Terran, so I probably went to Sandhurst and
Yeah,
have been through a
absolutely.
whole military tradition because I was an
Yeah.
officer. So yeah, it's like
Yeah.
a hand engraved thing that I've had for
Cool. Yeah, I like that.
hundreds
I like
of
that.
years in the family. So.
Yeah, it's an heirloom.
Yeah.
I like it.
Right.
Yeah, cool.
So what do you want me to do?
I think we need a sneak
Stealth.
attack. I'll do a sneak, not a sneak attack, sorry, a stealth roll.
Stealth.
I'm just going to do a stealth for your friends here. I'll just do one for the 3 of them.
What is
rather
stealth under?
Ooh.
Oh,
So
it's dexterity.
the rest of the team absolutely glide through the forest like ghosts. They rolled a 12. No problem at all.
All right. Well, I'm about to walk through 2 people carrying a pane of glass. So my total is 2. So let's.
Wow. Okay.
So what do I need to beat for this, or?
What for this?
Yeah.
It's dark. You've got cover of the forest. You've also got
It's a
there's a
foggy
low-lying
night, yeah.
mist. What I think a 15 is reasonable. And the silence descends and the gentle hum of this hover car sort of taking off, and it's all very nice and it's all very leather. And he says,
I start like picking one of the seams, just find my.
"You don't
Just a-
change, do you, Quint? Once Quint, always Quint."
Absolutely.
So this is the best you can do with yourself. 3 days in a space station.
It's different.
This is what life is now.
It's different.
I'll say it's different. It's dull as dishwater.
Well, you're not wrong there,
You're
really.
bored, Quint.
Yes.
Admit it.
I am.
Then
So
why not
bored.
get back in the game? You're a snake eater. You've always been a snake eater.
But there's paperwork and like training and qualifications and
We've been putting something new together, and I'd be very interested in somebody with your skill set in joining us. It's a little thing called Department 27. It's a post-war Secret Service organisation. allowed to go anywhere within the hegemony. You get a badge. You get official
What do I have to
recognition.
do to get the badge?
You have to stick your nose in where it isn't wanted. I need you to be Quint. And all I ask is that you report back to me
How often?
when you've got something to tell me.
Do I have to write it down?
You don't have to write it down.
I'm in.
Very good. Knowing the answer, he immediately just opens a small section in the cars and things like that, and immediately he's already got an ID badge already printed up and everything with. It's a little older photograph.
I was just going to say, yeah.
But it is you. It's
My
definitely
feathers
you.
have been dyed a different colour since.
Well, I must admit that went a lot more easily and smoother than I thought it would.
You know my relationship with paperwork.
Yes,
I don't have to do it. I'm in.
It's why I'm not asking you to do any.
Good.
We will keep this on a verbal process. You will call in, you'll tell me what you find.
Yeah.
So, excellent.
Sorry.
Well, I've got something for you then in that case. We know that a shipment has gone missing. An important shipment. A very dangerous shipment. What we don't know is who's made it go missing and where it's heading to. I need you to infiltrate the last known whereabouts of the stuff. We know that it's gone through the hands of a couple of different smugglers, and we know where it is, and we know that there's going to be an arms deal brokered.
Okay.
I want you to be the person who poses the guy who's going to go in, or person who's going to go and broker the deal. And then, if you can, you won't need to snatch the stuff back, but I certainly want to find out where it's going, what it's for, what it's going to be used for.
That's my specialism.
And that's what I thought, so that's why I came a-calling. He hands over a sort of, he flips a file off his data.
I don't
system,
even bother
so-
looking at it.
Sort of thing.
I might at some point have a look, but he's better off just giving me the verbal details because he knows I'm really not going to bother looking
Very
at
well,
paperwork.
very well. You will be
Just give me
transported.
pictures. Give
You
me
will be
pictures.
transported to a planet known as Sundenham. You've heard of Sundenham, it's quite a well-known place. Where you will be introduced to a broker called Zekvim Selaton. He's another Daylock. He works for an organisation run by somebody called Narani Ojin. I want you to impersonate the biker that you just saw arrested. We're going to use him, and it's his biker gang that we're going to be involved in getting this package.
Yeah.
I want you to represent them. I want you to infiltrate and get to know these people and find out what's going on.
I'll need the actual clothes they were wearing because these gangs will know real from counterfeit.
Well, that's simply done.
Yeah,
Give us
just
12
strip
hours to get you sorted out and we'll get you on your way.
Launder it, but strip them.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah. Do you want it laundered?
Oh,
Would that be authentic?
Good point.
You need the reek of patchouli.
Ooh, okay. I'm just gonna, yeah, okay. I'm just gonna have to take it as is.
Yeah.
Straight off
stay
the
with the whole
grease.
thing. Yeah, you can absolutely. This is all not a problem. He basically says, well, we'll put you up in a hotel for a few hours while we get that sorted out, and then we'll get you sent over to Sunderland as soon as possible. It'd be great if it all goes wrong on the very first dice roll.
For a moment, I thought Max had already rolled.
That's 15 and I've got a 2.
For a moment, I thought Max had already rolled when he said my total is a 2. I didn't realise he meant his total bonus.
Snake eye.
Yeah. Ooh. And your PC dies before we ever get to the main adventure.
I'll step off a cliff.
So you've got a 12. Do you want anything exciting to happen, or are you just quite glad that?
Well, I got a 14, so it's still
Yeah,
under,
but you've got a
it's
12 as
closer.
well. Yeah.
Oh, yes,
no,
you're right.
You've
yes.
actually rolled a 12.
I did,
so.
didn't I?
Yeah. You got a 14. How have you got a 14 with a 3 and a 12
What
and
I-
a 2 on your character sheet?
Well, I can bump into. Sorry, I've had a busy day. So I put the 12 and the 2 together and then put the 3 on top, so I had a 14 plus 3.
That's right, and it still comes to 17, not 14.
Yeah, yes, it does, but saying it's not a 12, it's 14, but I realised you were saying it in terms of a crit. So
Don't interrogate his maths, right? This is not his area.
I've had a very busy day.
Which is slightly disturbing considering what he works in. But anyway,
I'm working maths.
anyway, let's
The
not wander
computers
off.
do the maths for
Let's not wander off.
Is it, as long as I know sort of base 8, I'm fine.
God. So, do you want your 12 to do anything, or are you just quite happy? They rolled the 12 as well, so we will just,
Oh,
glide
well,
it past this patrol, no trouble at all.
okay. Let's. while we're walking past, let's see if they've got any sort of key cards hanging off.
You're
Chains
going
or
to try and go
anything.
for sort of a pickpockety thing?
I think so, or at least see if they've got and see if we can say, okay, well, there's at least a key card that
I'm
going to
make a roll for
pass.
that.
Yeah.
And I'll just make it over here and see what I get. Would you like to just look at that roll, Max?
That is a 1 and a 1.
Yeah, that's a double 1. No, they've got absolutely nothing with them, but they are entirely oblivious
Okay.
to what you're doing.
Well,
no, you don't see anything on them at all. But
Yeah.
something you do pick up off that roll, they aren't wearing ablative armour. They're using fairly low-level weaponry. It is automatic style slug throwing weapons. These guys are not carrying energy weapons.
Cool. I thought you were going to say there is one thing you pick up. They're all deaf.
Yeah, absolutely. They put them all out of control.
They're all wearing
Yeah, you could have tramped through here with an
That's
elephant
awesome.
and nobody would have noticed a thing.
Right. Cool. So we should be all right then.
Yeah, so you make your way in. Again, you get a bit closer to the base, and you can see there are floodlights out here, though. They're not ones that are moving particularly, but there are perimeter lights sort of shining out into the forest at various angles and things.
Is there anyone manning them, or are they just sort
They
of...
were not moving.
Right.
So whether they are automated, these aren't the kind of manual lights where people are kind of moving a searchlight.
that's
If
what it
there's
was.
some kind of security office,
Yeah.
possibly they can focus in if anybody's alerted to anything. The thing that you can't tell from out here at the moment, unless you want to make me some kind of technical roll to discover whether this is the case, you don't know whether they're using infrared or anything like that to kind of pick you up on different wavelengths.
Right. Well, I'd probably have a digital camera or something without the IR filter to see if there is any IR. So I'll give that a go. What would that be? Would that be mechatronics?
I think mechatronics is fair enough. It's really more to do with
That's just the base
giant
text,
mecha
I
and that kind of
suppose,
thing.
you know,
To be
base
fair,
tech
they're
is
all the
for-
same, aren't they?
yeah.
So, you know.
So I'll go for astronautics on
Okay,
this
yeah,
for the
that
difference
is.
it makes.
Yeah. Ooh, so
Is that 2 2s?
it is indeed. So you've just got a roll of 8 there on that. Whether it's the mist or something like that, whether the damp's got into the equipment a bit, it's been a bit funny about
it's not
giving you stuff.
working right.
But it would be a fair hunch that, you know, at the tech level that this kind of thing is at, there's probably some form of infrared or something like that. There may well be perimeter alarms, that kind of thing. So, you know, you might want to watch out for stuff. You are close enough now, though, if you want to survey what's going on.
Yeah, like sort of see any patrols walking around, trying to get a timing.
Absolutely. So what's in front of you is a fairly steep, not quite a cliff face, but certainly an embankment. And it's probably 70, 80 feet high, something like that. Whatever that is in metres. 20, 30 metres. Thereabouts. I don't do metric. I'm an old man. I don't know. And what you can see is there's a large hangar bay doors. You can see sort of the double bay into the side of this cliff face. And then you can see there's a smaller entryway over to the right of that. Maybe another 60, 70 feet in the other direction. There's a smaller entranceway. Outside, and very clearly, the one thing you can see is it's either a mechanised robot or it is actually a mecha. It might be a manned mecha. It's not one of the really big battle mecha. This is not, 80 foot tall, brandishing all sorts of things.
Yeah, but it's still a sizable threat.
Yeah, what's the one from RoboCop?
209.
Yeah. You know, that kind of size sort of thing, stomping around outside, sort of keeping the perimeter.
Martin, just for future reference, please don't talk while you've got the glass up to
Sorry.
you. It's fine. It worked okay. It was just, it sounds
Like that, yeah.
So you can use it to do voices.
Yeah.
It might come in quite handy, actually.
It was more FYI, just so you're
Fair
aware.
enough. So yeah, you can see this thing's kind of stomping around. It goes one way, comes back, stares out a bit into the forest, and then comes back and goes the other way.
Is it doing it like in a routine though? Is it?
You can hang around for a bit and find out. It takes it about 5 minutes to go from one end of the compound to the other. It seems to stop for maybe 30 or 40 seconds at either end.
Right. Okay. So if it's just left one place, you'd have about 6 minutes for it to start coming back.
Yeah, I think that would be fair.
Okay. Right. So it's
The
like
Phryxian turns to you and sort of over to you.
Yeah. So it's a big hangar door, you say?
Yeah, so it's like a double door, like blast doors type thing.
Yeah, you're on rollers type thing.
That kind of stuff.
Yeah. They don't swing out on a hinge, they roll.
No, they'll roll back. Sort of Thunderbird style.
Yeah.
I'm going to go that way. But there is a smaller entrance, as I say, probably another 70 feet to your right.
Okay, what does that look like?
It's kind of man-sized door, really. This robot would probably have to go through the hangar doors to go back in. It would not really fit through the other door.
What do the security measures look like on the smaller door?
There seems to be, if you focus in, you're probably built into your armor, you've got some kind of binocular vision built in, and you can zoom in on it. There does seem to be a keypad on the right-hand side of the door.
Yeah.
There's probably sensors on it to notice if it opens, so it'll set off some sort of basic alarm if it's triggered. So you'd probably need to sort of get in there and do some kind of slicing to get through that system and make sure that the alarm didn't go off.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, I will just say at this point, I am absolutely up for, we've bought rope grapnels and we can fire them into the cliff and haul ourselves up or drop ourselves down or anything. You know, I'm assuming that you bought the kind of equipment you need to do this mission. So if anything kind of crosses your mind and think, oh, we could do it like this, I'm totally up for it.
I don't think I'm going to risk grapnels.
Okay.
Because although I'm alright at strength, I'm shit at dexterity. So if there's any of that sort of thing, I don't want to risk falling and, you know.
Fair enough.
But I wouldn't mind trying to get a bit closer to that smaller door.
Okay.
How close do you reckon I could get to it without being seen? Is there like a row of trees opposite it or something? Or
let's see. Let's see what it looks like. Yeah, you could probably get close enough. I mean, obviously, it's clear around the front of the base.
Yeah.
Once you get within about 50 foot of the front, there's not going to be anything there other than there's probably some crates stacked up, things like that. You could probably make your way from crate to crate and sort of then try and get to the door. If you can time it right, and for this you'll need a roll, I want a stealth roll from you. If you can time it right, you can do it so that the robot guard is at the far end of the compound, so that as you get to the door you've got kind of a whole 5 minutes to crack the door and make your way through.
Well, what I'm going to do before that is, would it be reasonable to assume I could have some sort of vapour grenade? Not a smoke grenade, but something that would release some sort of a gas, like
so that you could see if there was
so that
anything.
If there was,
yeah, absolutely.
And not smoke, because that would be visible to humans, but anything that a sensor might pick up, and I could see, oh, it's tripped that, and then if someone comes to one, I can...
knowing what you were going to do, I would imagine you've packed a few.
Right, I'm going to just sort of chuck one towards the door.
Okay.
Let it go off.
Okay. I'm going to suggest that this stuff has been treated so it hangs around for a bit, especially in misty conditions, that kind of stuff.
Quite a dense gas, I think.
So it does, and you can see that there are a couple of beams that are sweeping across. They're repeated up and down. I mean, you assume that they're repeated up and down as the gas spreads out. You see a bit more, but yeah, you can kind of see there's a sort of scan pattern where they'll overlap. But then there is.
Are they actually moving? It's not.
Yeah, they are actually moving. So you're going to have to time it right. You're going to have to get through this, and just. Time it. Now, I won't make you make dex rolls. I will allow you to use stealth to do it, or even I'll let you use a tech roll.
Okay,
if that's better, because you'd sort of come at it using right.
I know the timings of them.
That's
that model.
That's a Wakazashi 6000, and I know that it's 30-second repeat or whatever it is.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Do I recognise the model of it?
Maybe a attack roll. Yeah, absolutely. It's a Wakazashi 6000.
Right, and is there anything in particular about that has any sort of exploits? Or...
well, you've rolled a 12 again, so you tell me.
Okay.
What was the fatal flaw when they designed this particular model?
The fatal flaw is that if the power trips, it's an insecure thing, basically. It's not got a backup battery.
Right.
So if we can trip the power to that section, if we can find a breaker, the whole thing is clear.
Okay. So are you, with that information, are you going to look again at the walls of the thing and see if there's power lines or anything
I'll try
like
and follow
that?
terminal cables.
Okay, well again, you rolled a 12, so I think it's fair enough. You can locate, if you go further round to the right, away from the smaller door, so you're moving away from the hangar, away from the door, further round to the right of the compound, as you're looking at it, you can see that the wires do go off over in that corner. Maybe a generator or something.
Right, okay. I'll follow them round, I suppose, carefully, obviously.
Okay, so everybody's pretty much coming with you at the moment. You rolled a 12. I'm going to let that 12 stand for it.
Okay.
You can make your way around, and indeed you get far enough around. It's a small concrete structure just outside the main structure with a couple of alloy doors across the front of it. It's probably done like that so that it's easy maintenance for the generator, something like that. But it is locked. You know, it's not just going to be a case of walking up, opening the door. You're going to have to crack the lock.
What sort of lock is it?
It's probably just a digital code lock, something like that. It's probably easy peasy for a man of your...
Is there a
Tolerance.
gap between the doors at all, or is there some sort of seal behind it?
Difficult to tell.
Okay.
I suppose if you're looking, you know, and you zoom in on it, it looks like there's a gap, but the problem is it a gap that it's just got one of those L-shaped things behind it? That's difficult to tell. But you can, it's probably not a really sophisticated lock.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, let's be honest, they're using a Wakazashi 6000 for goodness sake. I mean, what fool would do that?
It's just
No, that's done.
Yes.
Anything else you want to know or do before I push it along a little bit?
I'll want the weaponry that we took off the guy.
Mm-hmm.
I'll want the ID we took off the guy, but with the picture changed to my picture.
Mm-hmm.
Because if this guy has the habit of carrying the ID when he shouldn't, then they may well know that.
Yeah.
So
they probably want to deal with him because he's not the brightest button in the box.
Exactly. So I'll want his personal weapon, his personal ID, his clothes. I'll want another video of the footage inside the cafe because I'll need to study his movements.
They can get the security footage straight from the spaceport to you. They get you to basically a sort of a put-me-up safe house that they've got in the area.
And I'll need a couple of combat specialists to pose as part of his gang because he wouldn't turn up on his own.
Well, they can use the other...
Gangs
They'll get somebody who
need
can use the
members.
other uniforms and stuff. And they can sort of fake the IDs and get all that to work.
Yeah.
So, you can have two guys who are combat capable.
Yeah.
Or ladies, whoever, to come in and...
It doesn't matter.
No, absolutely.
So, so I'll want backup and I'll want the authentic gear and I'll study their movements and how they interact with each other.
Make me a mystification roll as you study these things. I think it's right down the bottom of your character
It is. It's
So it's
only
basically the art of disguise for once of
so 11, 12, 13.
13.
Reasonable, I
Yeah,
think.
it's probably not that you can't do it. It's more to do with the amount of time that you've got.
Yeah,
It's
of a rush
sort
job.
of a bit of a rush job, but you kind of get his mannerisms down, that kind of stuff. You get enough about him, the way the swagger, all that kind of thing.
I mean, I'm assuming he was also Valkyrian to begin with because it's a bit hard to...
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. You're in a fairly Valkyrian heavy bit of space where you are. So unless I say otherwise, chances are it's probably Valkyrian that you're moving into. That's why I mentioned Daylock, the guy who beaten and things like that.
Okay.
Yeah, you can kind of get all that down. You really get a feel for the character and that kind of stuff. You do get a bit more time with your two new acquaintances. What names do you want to give them? Let's have a look. I've got some names down here that we can probably filch. We'll make those both Valkyrian as well, shall we?
Yep.
So the first one is called Alaric. And the second one is called Rayla. That's a female. They are used to undercover work. They're Secret Service themselves. They've had the training.
And what's my name as the biker?
Ooh, what shall we call you? Let's call you Palavan.
Does Palavan go by an alias or a nickname?
Does he?
Vans.
Okay, nice. Vans Valavan. I like it. Yeah. Vans Palavan. Does he wear Vans? Do they still have Vans? And 200 years from now, we're made for a completely different species. I'm not sure if it's called biker wear, would it?
No, but Vans, he thinks that it sounds tough, I imagine.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So, but you know that's what I'm impersonating. So it's like Vans.
Oh, we're in
He's getting
character.
into...
I like it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So you can kind of practice the stuff at the safe house and things. Within the day, they've already got you transport on a ship, and they can get you to. It'll have to be a sort of tramp vessel or public transport, that kind of thing, because they can't just give you a secret service ship because you're basically going in undercover. So they kind of find you an old, battered, it's been retrieved from a cut and shut job, smuggler vessel that they give you. It's not the fastest thing in the world. It's warp capable. It'll get you where you need to go. Probably take a couple of days to get there. That time passes unless you want anything particular to happen. You want to just practice a little bit more with your mannerisms, that kind of stuff. Get your cover story straight between the three of you.
Exactly, because it's time to work on the natural born imposter skill that Quint has.
Oh, so just for the audience, what does that do?
If need be, I can pass for anyone. It won't hold for a long time, but it'll be enough to get access to a location, for example. So let's say there's a fancy dinner going down and I want to go in as either a servant or a guest. I can just do that. If they follow me into the event and I don't get lost into the crowd, they might work it out if it becomes clear that I don't really know where I'm going, or I don't really know anybody in there.
So those sort of things would break down over time as you got little bits wrong more and more, and it would become obvious. Okay, that makes sense.
I can get in places quite easily. I can pass for somebody else.
Right.
So I will be kind of invoking that for the meeting.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So basically, you land at the starport on Sundervan. You are expected. There's not quite somebody standing with a sign, fans, but they kind of know who they're looking for, kind of thing. Your new ID has been sent forward, and they meet you, and it's yet another Valkyrian. These guys are suit-wearing Valkyrian. They are not bikers.
Vans will be kind of presenting an air of a bit bravado, but Quint will also be allowing a little bit of insecurity to kind of come through, because a biker in that situation would be a bit nervous and be trying to cover it with bravado. So that's the front that's being presented.
Nice. I like it. I like it. Okay, nice cover. He sort of says to you, meet you at the thing, and says, I'll take you to Sekvim now. And they sort of hustle you off into yet another car with the three of you. You're searched. Any obvious weaponry is taken off you, but it's something you wouldn't expect, quite frankly, from Crocodile. It would be unusual that they'd let you walk in with sidearms and things. It's night time here on the planet. They take you through the neon lit streets. The rain blatters the windscreen, and after about a 30-minute drive, you're into the city centre itself, where they drop you, and it seems to be a nightclub that they're taking you to. There's the usual ubiquitous crowd of people sort of queuing up outside, but you're immediately led to the front. The red rope has moved out of the way for you, and you're ushered in past the bouncers on the door. And there's the noise of the street sort of swaps for the noise of the dance floor as you move through, and you sort of come in, and there's people dancing on tables and poles and things like that, and there's people getting drunk, and the noise sort of hits you as you walk in.
Quint thinks that fans would be a bit more comfortable in this situation, so the insecurity is going to be dialed back, and the slight peacockness will be coming out.
Okay, cool.
Just keeping it going.
He basically, the classic thing of you're taken across the dance floor, they push people out of the way, get you to the stairs where yet another red rope is removed, and you're taken up and you're shown into sort of the VIP lounge upstairs, where you can see these whole load of the coterie, if you like, of these people are sort of sat around. There's guards looking about, that kind of stuff. There's exotic drinks and chilled containers and things. And this Daylock is sat there with a couple of floozies on either side. Shirt open to the thighs, several chains around his neck, that kind of thing. It's leopard skin, of course, leopard print shirt. And he sort of looks over at the girls and like, fuck off. And it's like, sit. You want drinks? I've got skank. Anything you want. Crystal, help yourself.
Is there like a beer bottle equivalent.
I think it is an orange juice.
I think Vans
Just
is
a mineral water, thank you.
It's a beer drinker.
Oh, okay, yeah, get them out of beer. One of the ponchos eventually comes over and pops the beer down in front of you. Oh, nice. On the side of the marble table, take a chunk out of it. It's kind of like.
Absolutely.
So, I hear big things about the gang. You're moving up in the world.
Yeah.
Well, you must be if you can afford this shit.
Yeah.
Tell me what you're going to do with it.
Shit. Make trouble. Get rich.
Make me a persuasion roll. Persuade me that you're going to cause trouble. I'll let you use mystification again if you can't think of anything else, or you can use charisma. Yeah,
Charisma.
Cunning.
Is cunning
That's
any better?
I'll let you use whichever one's better.
They're both 2 points.
We'll call it cunning then. I
Yeah.
think it's more.
17, 18, 19.
Oh my goodness me. Shit, I like it. Yeah, you're gonna do shit. You'll blow some shit up with this.
Absolutely.
And he's kind of like,
That's what we're here for.
he's like, yeah, 15 pounds of CMC. That'll do a lot of damage.
Has Quint got any idea what that means?
It is a form of massively concentrated high explosive that I've just made up.
Okay. Fine, okay, yeah.
It's a kind of classic plastic. It's inert until somebody makes it non-inert with some kind of electronic primer, which can be set off at a distance, by time, by whatever means, microwave pulse, whatever it is. There are all sorts of different things that you can use, but it's incredibly good stuff. Tracker dogs can't sniff it. It's really hard to track what it is. It's completely inert until it suddenly isn't, and it goes boom in a big way, and you don't need very much of it. So this, £20 a bit, that's like you could start a war with £20 of this stuff.
Vans with Quint, driving in the background. Vans is kind of doing his best to not be too excited, but kind of, yeah. But I can't let him know I want it that deeply because,
Right. I gotta warn you. There's another interesting party. Always is, right?
Yeah.
Always is. They're putting a really good deal on the table. 4 mil.
What's Van's offer?
You haven't been given a specific figure, but you have the backing of Department 27 behind you.
More than 4 million?
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
Who's the other group?
Yeah.
Yeah, come on.
Like
We're friends.
It's like, friend, I've just met you.
Yeah. You like
You're only
me.
drinking
I
beer.
like you.
And it's like, I can't tell you that. You know how business works.
Do you
I
want
can't
this
tell
to
you
go to people that don't have clear heads?
It's like, I don't care who it goes to as long as we get the money.
Oh, okay, I do
I don't
get
give a
that.
shit.
I do get that. Yeah, that's a reasonable point of view.
I'll tell you what. Why don't you come meet the boss? If the boss likes you, maybe that'll swing the deal one way or the other.
Or maybe I can take out the other group, give you their 4 million, and I can give you our money, and you can give the money to us. You can give it to us.
I like the cut of your jib. I'm liking the sound of this. So you definitely need to meet the boss. And it's like, have a great night tonight. Place is yours. Do what you want. Drink what you want. Screw what you want. Tomorrow,
Sounds good.
we'll take you to meet the boss. And we'll see if we strike a deal. Hello everyone, it's Martin here from Dice-ist. Thank you for watching the video this far, and if you've made it this far, then why not consider subscribing to the channel and maybe hit the alarm bell so that you get any notifications for when we publish a new video. It usually comes about every 2 weeks or so. Also, a bit of a beg, we'd really appreciate it if you take a look at our Patreon. There's loads of other stuff on the Patreon, bloopers from all the videos, extra episodes, podcast material that doesn't get sent out anywhere else. So we'd really appreciate you taking a look at that. One of the things we'd really like to do if we could get some money together is to actually employ an artist to help us out with character pictures, artwork to go into all the individual episodes and things like that. So that'd be really fantastic if we could get to that point. So really appreciate your support. Please feel free to share this video if there's anyone you know you think might like this, who role plays or anything. We'd really appreciate it. We're a tiny channel, we're really trying to grow, and any help you can give us is really wonderful. So thank you so much, and we'll see you on the next episode. Goodbye for now.